Have you ever wondered what lies at the heart of one of the world's largest religions, Islam? It's a faith steeped in rich history and profound teachings, a spiritual journey that millions embark upon each day. At its core, Islam is built upon two key pillars: the core beliefs and the 5 pillars of practice. The core beliefs, or the Aqidah, encompass the belief in Allah, His prophets, angels, the Day of Judgment, and divine decree. These form the very foundation of a Muslim's faith, the rock-solid base upon which everything else is built. Then we have the 5 pillars of practice, the practical manifestations of this faith in daily life: prayer, fasting, giving charity, and pilgrimage. These are not just rituals, but profound acts of devotion, each with its own deep significance. Now, let's dive into the depth of Islam and explore its core beliefs. The Islamic faith, like many other religions, is based on a set of core beliefs. These beliefs are not just abstract ideas, but they are the very bedrock upon which a Muslim's life is built. The first and foremost of these is the belief in Allah, the one and only God, who is the creator, sustainer, and ruler of the universe. This belief is not just about acknowledging the existence of a higher power, but also about acknowledging that Allah is the only entity worthy of worship. Next, we come to the belief in the prophets of Allah. Muslims believe in all the prophets sent by Allah, including Moses, Jesus, and the final prophet, Muhammad. These prophets were chosen by Allah to guide mankind and to convey His message. The third core belief of Islam is in angels, unseen beings created by Allah. Muslims believe that angels are obedient servants of Allah, carrying out His commands throughout the universe. Then there's the belief in the holy books. Muslims believe that Allah revealed His guidance through texts known as the holy books, including the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospel, and the Quran, which is the final revelation. Moving forward, we have the belief in the Day of Judgment. Muslims believe that life in this world is but a temporary phase, and a day will come when every individual will be held accountable for their actions. Finally, we have the belief in the divine decree, or qadr. This belief is an acceptance that everything that happens in the universe occurs according to Allah's will and knowledge. These beliefs constitute the foundation of a Muslim's faith. They provide a lens through which Muslims view the world, shaping their interactions, their responses, and their very understanding of existence. Understanding these beliefs is the first step in understanding Islam. Now let's delve into the 5 pillars of Islam. Islam is not just about belief, but also about action. These actions are encapsulated in the 5 pillars of Islam. Let's delve into these pillars, which serve as the fundamental framework of a Muslim's life. Firstly, we have the declaration of faith, known as the Shahada. This is the statement: there is no deity but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. This assertion is the cornerstone of Islamic belief, expressing the oneness of God and the prophethood of Muhammad. Next is prayer, or salat, which is performed 5 times a day. Muslims turn their thoughts to Allah at dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, and night, offering gratitude, seeking guidance, and asking for forgiveness. These moments of prayer serve as constant reminders of the divine presence in a Muslim's life. The third pillar is zakat, or giving charity. This is not merely a good deed, but an obligation. Muslims are required to give a fixed portion of their wealth to the less fortunate, fostering a sense of community and compassion. The fourth pillar is fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, or Sawm. From dawn to sunset, Muslims abstain from food, drink, and other physical needs. It's a time of purification, self-discipline, and a reminder of the hunger that many people endure every day. Lastly, we have the pilgrimage to Mecca, or Hajj. Muslims who are physically and financially able are required to make this journey at least once in their lifetime. It's a profound act of faith and unity, drawing millions from across the globe to the same spot at the same time. These pillars are the practical aspects of a Muslim's faith. But how does one prepare for these acts of worship? That brings us to purification. Before a Muslim engages in acts of worship, there is a purification process known as Wudu. This act of washing, with its specific steps, is not only a physical cleanse, but also a spiritual one, preparing the believer to stand in front of Allah in prayer. Imagine yourself at the threshold of a grand palace, preparing to meet the king. You wouldn't just stroll in without making sure you're clean and presentable, right? Well, that's similar to how wudu works. It's a way of preparing yourself to stand in front of the King of all kings, Allah. The process of wudu involves 4 main steps. First, Muslims wash their hands up to the wrists 3 times. Then, they rinse their mouths and noses, also 3 times. The third step involves washing the face from the forehead to the chin, and from ear to ear 3 times. And lastly, Muslims wash their arms up to the elbows, and then wipe their heads and feet up to the ankles. But wudu isn't just about the physical act of washing. As each part of the body is cleansed, the person performing wudu is encouraged to reflect on their sins and ask for forgiveness. Each drop of water that falls off the body symbolizes a sin being washed away. This purification process plays a significant role in the daily life of a Muslim. It's not just about maintaining physical cleanliness, but it also serves as a constant reminder of our need for spiritual cleanliness. It's a moment of pause, a break from the hustle and bustle of life, a time to reflect and connect with our Creator. Wudu also serves as a barrier between the believer and sin. It's a constant reminder of the sanctity of prayer, the importance of cleanliness in Islam, and our constant striving towards purity. With purification complete, one is ready for prayer. But what about daily life as a Muslim? That's where understanding halal and haram comes in. Everyday life is filled with choices. In Islam, these choices can be categorized as halal, permissible, or haram, forbidden. Delving into the world of Islam, we encounter the concepts of halal and haram, 2 terms that guide a Muslim's conduct in daily life. Halal, an Arabic term, translates to permissible in English, while haram refers to anything forbidden. This dichotomy of halal and haram is not just about food and drink, but extends to all aspects of life, influencing the decisions and actions of every practicing Muslim. Let's take the realm of food and drink as a starting point. In Islam, animals slaughtered in the name of Allah with a swift and merciful cut are considered halal. Pork, however, is explicitly haram, as are any products derived from the animal. Alcohol too falls under the category of haram, being seen as an intoxicant that can cloud judgment and lead to harmful behavior. But the halal-haram dichotomy isn't confined to consumables. It impacts financial dealings as well. For instance, usury or interest, known as riba in Arabic, is haram. This influences the way Muslims approach banking and finance, often opting for Islamic banking systems that operate without interest. In the sphere of personal interactions, lying, backbiting, and slander are considered haram, while honesty, respect, and kindness are halal, encouraged behaviors. It's important to note that there are also categories that fall between halal and haram, such as makruh, which refers to actions that are discouraged but not sinful, and mustahab, actions that are recommended but not obligatory. So you see, the concepts of halal and haram permeate the life of a Muslim, providing a moral and ethical compass. They guide choices and actions in accordance with the teachings of Islam, promoting a life of harmony, respect, and humility. Understanding halal and haram helps a Muslim live a life in line with their faith. This brings us to the end of our journey. As we conclude our journey through the core tenets of Islam, let's reflect on what we've learned. We've delved into the foundation of the Islamic faith, exploring the belief in Allah, His prophets, angels, the Day of Judgment, and divine decree. We've also navigated the 5 pillars of Islam: prayer, fasting, giving charity, and pilgrimage. Each one is an integral part of a Muslim's life, serving to strengthen their faith and bring them closer to Allah. We've learned about the importance of purification before prayer and how it prepares the mind, body, and soul for a connection with the divine. We've discussed the concept of halal and haram and how it guides Muslims in their daily life, helping them to make choices that align with their faith. Remember, understanding is the first step towards respect and acceptance. Hopefully, this has provided you with a greater understanding of Islam.